Hello, television family. I'm back after a week off or so. A little vacation, a little family time, much enjoyed, but now it's back to work, and I'm trying to remember what it is that I do for a living. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. It is Thursday, 9th day of July, 2026. I'm Dan Kuntz. You probably know that. 66 degrees here in the big city. When I woke up this morning at 2:30, it was 70 degrees. No red flag warning today, but that might change. Not going to be as windy today. We'll be about, as far as heat, about where we were yesterday. We topped off at 89 on Wednesday, but it was really quite breezy at times, especially in the afternoon hours. It's not going to be as windy today, so no red flag warning, but there's still concerns. It's this time of the year. The funny thing is the real fire season, for those of us who've been around here long enough in this area, and I'm one of them, is usually September. We've had some pretty nasty fires and smoke in the waning weeks of summertime, like last year and the year before that, and on down the line. Anyway, weather is coming up. By the way, starting next week, it's going to get hot. No surprise there. News, lots. Sports, not so much, but we got it. Mariners didn't do very well. 5 base hits, and they were all singles. No, they had nothing. They kind of just coasted through a little 2-0 loss to the Marlins. Highlights anyway. Applesauce continued to play remarkably good baseball. Best record in the West Coast League by far. This is a good team. They're on the road. They played Port Angeles and beat them up pretty good. Interview portion. Yeah, this will be great. We did I was off Friday of last week for the holiday, and then I was off Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week. But last week we were really busy. We were able to get a bunch of conversations in the can, so I would have something to do when I got back. And Hanne Bosket gets to bat leadoff for our new series of conversations. She, of course, is the executive director of the Chelan-Douglas Land Trust. Late last winter, in February of this year, the city of Wenatchee and the Chelan-Douglas Land Trust got together, bought a whole bunch of acreage, over 100 acres from the Omi family, immediately to the north of Omi Gardens. They're going to start developing what's called the Lookout Natural area. And so I got a hold of Hanne, and she said, yeah, let's talk about it. We actually went up to the Lookout Natural area, which is going to be pretty nice in a couple of years. And to talk about that, so Hanne will join me in the back half of the program. And it's Thursday, Pause for Pets. Maui the dog is being incarcerated in dog jail. Let's get Maui out. That's all coming up. Let's do it. Let's tour. I'm trying to remember again what it is that I do for a living. A few high clouds out there. A weak layer of marine air pushed in late afternoon and the early evening hours. That's why we have some high clouds. It's not going to really cool us down at all. And a lot of those high clouds that you see won't be hanging around much today. The one thing I noticed while I was gone, and I came back, because that's what happens, you leave and then you come back and you notice things that weren't there before. The hills around the valley are just brown as they could be. Very little greenery left there, and there's a perfect example of that if you look up both Badger and Birch Mountain there on your screen. Leavenworth looks beautiful. Good morning to Leavenworth. Of course, next week the Tumwater is going to be closed to all traffic. Everybody's going to be routed onto the Chumstick Highway, except for big rigs, which aren't allowed there anyway, as they do the permanent fixes after the mid-December storms. Family vacation up in Plain, by the way. Just gorgeous. Weather was just beautiful up there. Speaking of just beautiful, hello to the upper part of our viewing area. Hello to Pateros and Bridgeport and Brewster and Omak and Okanagan and Riverside and Tonasket and Canada. That little protuberance in the far left of your screen away in the background, that's actually in Canada. Good morning to our friends. That's the Billy Goat camera, the big one with the most amount of real estate. And there is Lake Wenatchee, nice and calm and benign. As you can see, if you go to the farther west of us, they have less clouds than we have here in the Wenatchee Valley. But the clouds that are there now in the valley and in most of our viewing area ain't going to last very long. Yesterday we had a red flag warning. We don't have one today because it's not going to be windy enough, but still, you know, we look at this slide from the National Weather Service, elevated fire weather conditions. We could probably just do this every day between now and October. That's just the way it is nowadays. So no red flag warning. They may change their mind if the wind picks up in intensity. It's going to pick up in the evening hours and die down during the daytime hours. So through the Cascade Gaps, and that's us, tonight and tomorrow night, it'll be breezier than actually during the daytime, and then we get really warm. A warming trend is going to be coming our way for next week, but here we go. And again, that's a slide we could probably show almost every day between now and when it snows. From the National Weather Service, that way if you don't like the weather, you can blame the government. 90 today, lots of sunshine. We hit 89 yesterday, very late in the afternoon hours. It'll pick up in some wind. 63 for the overnight low tonight. The wind will pick up a little bit tonight. Good sustained west wind at about 15 miles an hour. Calm on Friday, a little bit cooler, but not really much. There's no difference between 90 and 89 as far as I'm concerned. And then Friday night, the wind picks up again. We'll get down to 61, and then luckily, no wind concerns at all. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we are going to have a ridge of high pressure that's going to be here by Sunday. And here we go with hot conditions. And by the way, and I haven't mentioned this yet today, we're going to start losing about a minute and a half of daylight every day. Sunrise yesterday was at 5:15, this morning 5:14, tomorrow 5:15, 5:16, 5:17. So each day now, as we get deeper into summertime, we're going to see a pretty dramatic loss of daylight hours. Thought I'd throw that out there. Next thing I got to throw your way is the news, and I got 2 minutes to do that. Grab your cup of coffee and come back and we'll do it. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
Are you dealing with a pest or weed issue and you just don't know what to do?
We use the best pest control methods approved for areas with kids and pets.
Whether it's rats, mice, ants, or spiders,
or something else altogether.
We provide the coaching and solutions you're looking for.
And you can know that your dollars are supporting a local, family-owned and operated business.
Allow us to help you get back to living healthy and pest-free. Harvest Valley Pest Control.
The Surf and Slide Water Park is open from Memorial Day through Labor Day. Surf and Slide is located in the heart of Central Washington in Moses Lake with activities for all ages and abilities. Check out Surf and Slide's Flow Rider Surfing Simulator, Lazy River, 2 200-foot water slides, tube slides, and diving boards. Our children's area includes a Treasure Island water structure, splash pad, and baby octopus slide. For season passes, visit us online or find Surf and Slide on Facebook.
Slide and surf all summer long. Soundwave Saturdays, more than a surf park, it's the summer scene. Grab a drink and enjoy live music every Saturday in July and August. Slide Waters in Lake Chelan. Don't miss it.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCW Life, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
.66 degrees here in the big city. Not a lot of wind concerns today. Going to be high, going to be about 90. The winds will pick up in the overnight hours, die down in the daylight on Friday, pick up again Friday night, and then we're kind of done with the wind, we hope, starting on Saturday, but it is July weather. We're going to see in the lower 90s for the foreseeable future. It's 9 minutes after the hour, a 100-acre brush fire just north of Quincy. They got on this baby pretty quick. It happened Wednesday morning. Local fire crews hopped on it. The fire was first reported about 6:30 yesterday morning, burning near the intersection of Road 13 Northwest and Monument Hill Road. The flames spread rapidly, as you might imagine. Authorities at one point placed a level 1 and level 2 evacuation notices on properties in that area, but they were soon scaled back. Fire district crews had the blaze under control by shortly after 10 a.m. No immediate word on the cause of that fire. But investigators are probing the cause behind the Navarre fire, which, like the other fire on July 4th, began burning on Navarre Cooley Road. The 92-acre blaze brought under control after about a couple of days. But the State Department of Natural Resources says, just like the Chelan Hills fire, It was believed to have been caused by fireworks discharged near milepost 1 on the lower Navarre Coulee Road. Nobody was injured, no structures destroyed in that fire, but the agency has opened an investigation and they want your help if you can help them. If you have information, you can contact DNR or the Chelan County Emergency Management Office. And a criminal investigation of the Chelan Hills fire is underway. The wildfire, believed to be human-caused, may have been started by fireworks. Yesterday, Douglas County Sheriff Tyler Cale participated in a press briefing with Governor Bob Ferguson, Public Lands Commissioner Dave Upthegrove, and other government officials. Cale says the confirmed number of structures by the fire includes about 19 primary residences and several dozen secondary buildings, and there has been one confirmed death. During the briefing, Cale declined to comment further on details of the investigation, but he said anybody arrested in the case could be facing some pretty serious charges.
The criminal aspect of, the degree and how the fire was started, whether it was in a reckless manner, intentional, there's prongs there that you have to look at. But then with the loss of life, now we're into the realm of manslaughter. So there and any other charges. Once the case investigation was completed and subjects are taken into custody, then it'll be up to the Douglas County prosecutor to make that final determination. But those would be the tertiary items that we would be starting with at a criminal level. And I can tell you our investigators are working tirelessly. This is something that we will not give up on, and we will find whoever's responsible for this fire and bring them to justice.
As the Chelan Hills fire got going after it started on Independence Day, it caused injuries for multiple firefighters. Some suffered minor burns, others had to deal with smoke inhalation. As of this morning, and I checked about a half an hour ago, the wildfire still is about 50% contained and still had burned just short of 10,000 acres. Sheriff Tyler Cale said high winds around 2 o'clock on Saturday blew that fire through McNeil Canyon, and that put residents and firefighters in danger. Fire crews had to retreat to a private property. They made a circle with their fire engines and used their pumps and water to keep themselves cool. One of the fire engines was completely burned over. Another was burned, but they were able to get it out of there. The precise number of injured personnel, we don't know yet. In the chaos, by the way, a State Department of Natural Resources transport vehicle crashed into another DNR vehicle. One of those vehicles was then consumed by the fire. And Washington's insurance commissioner is offering support for survivors of the Chelan Hills fire, including guidance for navigating the claims process for fire damages. Patty Cutter says her office is standing by to assist in recovery. They have a resource center that they opened at the Lake Chelan Community Center. Cutter says anybody suffering losses should contact their insurance company as soon as possible once the extent of the damage is known. Keep your receipts for all fire-related expenses. They say that's important, and the OIC's Consumer Protection Program is available to help answer your questions. Chelan County deputies responding to that vehicle crash report over the weekend did recover the body of the driver killed when his vehicle slid into the Chelan River Gorge. This happened on Independence Day. 58-year-old Vladimir Stefanov was driving between Chelan and Chelan Falls on the Gorge Road when his red Toyota Tacoma left the roadway and rolled into the canyon. Deputies found the wreck submerged in the Chelan River, and firefighters used ropes and a harness to get down to it. The Chelan County PUD lowered the river level. That allowed deputies to recover Stefanov's body and to begin to extract the vehicle from the canyon. The cause of the crash under investigation. Authorities say Stefanov was not driving under the influence at the time. Witnesses are asked to contact the Chelan County Sheriff's Office. Searchers on Wednesday able to recover the body of a Federal Way man who drowned over the holiday weekend in Moses Lake. 40-year-old Jaime Turcolaco went swimming in the south end of the lake on Sunday. A lot of crowds, as you might imagine, on the 4th of July. Friends soon noticed he wasn't there anymore. His car and phone found unattended nearby. Sheriff's deputies swept the lake bottom with sonar as part of the search, and then the Grant County Sheriff's mounted posse was able to find and recover Turcolaco's body. An autopsy will be conducted. More changes being made to Front Street in Leavenworth. A couple of trees are going down before they fall down. Our own Nathan Eshelman has this story.
2 trees right here on Front Street have been here since it was ever a Bavarian city. And now, due to safety concerns, Leavenworth is going to have to take the trees down.
2 trees in Front Street Park are going to be taken down, and it is due to a safety hazard. One of the trees, the bigger one, is completely dead, and the one right behind it is currently in the process of dying, and it's dying rapidly. The city of Leavenworth is working with the Clifton Tree Service and will be removing them on Wednesday, July 15th. Both of the trees that are being taken down were used a lot during the Village of Light celebration. The city of Leavenworth wants to celebrate the trees as they were icons of the Front Street and are very visible from Highway 2 when anyone comes into Leavenworth. The city of Leavenworth also encourages people to share their favorite memories of the lights and celebrations during the winter time.
That'll do it here from Leavenworth. Nathan Eshelman for NCW Life.
And a Moses Lake police officer named to receive a Hometown Hero Award from the U.S. Attorney General's office. Edgar Salazar, he opened fire to stop the 2023 mass shooting at the Gorge Amphitheater campground. The shooting did kill 2 people and wounded 3 more. Salazar had been working as an undercover drug detail outside the Beyond Wonderlust Festival. His action wounded the shooter and allowed him to be apprehended. Salazar and 4 fellow officers have already been recognized with the Washington State Medal of Honor for their part in the response. And that is the news on this Thursday. Sorry I didn't shave today. I was on vacation, and you don't do that. I'll do my best to be clean shaven tomorrow. No guarantees, though. The news tonight at 5 o'clock, at 5:30, 6 o'clock, 6:30, online on our YouTube page with a link on our Facebook page. Stay in the loop on what has been a very busy few days for the folks in the bullpen, but we got some good folks who know what they're doing. The news at 5:30, and on down the line. You can watch it on our YouTube page right around 5 o'clock. We're on all those little things that you see there, what we'd like to call the thing next to me. And if you have a news tip, send us an email, news@ncwlife.com. Mariners are in danger of being swept, but the Marlins are good. Proof of that in 2 minutes with sports. You're watching Wake Up at Anchi Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Now there are even more reasons to meet at the Pybus Market. Outdoor dining and tastings, the fabulous Farmers Market, Saturday artisans on the concourse, and your favorites all week long. No matter the reason, it's always time to meet at the Pybus Market. Pybus Market, where community meets.
Community is more than just a place. It's the people, stories, and connections we share. At the Wenatchee World, we're your neighbors, your storytellers, and your trusted voice. From uncovering the issues that matter most to celebrating the moments that bring us together. We deliver the stories that keep the community moving forward. The Wenatchee World, your community voice, here every day.
Apple Valley Honda is bringing the future of driving to you. Introducing the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue EV. Say goodbye to gas stations and hello to a whisper-quiet ride and zero emissions. The wait is over. Finally, a local option for a quality EV from a brand with a track record of exceptional quality and reliability. Experience the Honda Prologue EV for yourself at family-owned Apple Valley Honda. Stay close to home and visit us at Apple Valley Honda today for the life you live.
This is about 20 minutes after the hour. Kyle Stowers had a big old home run. He plays for the Marlins. Otto Lopez leads the majors in hitting. He also plays for the Marlins. Miami beat Seattle and Miami yesterday. The final was 2-0. So the Marlins have now won 5 in a row, and their record since June 1st is 25-8, and that is the best in the major leagues. The Marlins are good. Seattle had just 5 hits, all of them just singles.
And a ground ball to Stowers. He's got it. Nicely done by Kyle Stowers. Give him a couple of assists here in a scoreless top of the first. 3 back of the Braves to the backhand of Otto Lopez. Strong throw to first, picked by Stowers. He got caught in between, but a solid pick by Stowers, making his 19th start at first this season. He flies a knuckle curve to center. Deep. Robles back. Track. Walk-on! Kyle Stowers with his 12th of the year. 1-0 Miami here in the second.
You talk about a beautiful swing on a knuckle curve. Way Kyle Stowers kept himself back, kept his hands back, and just launched it perfectly. Didn't try to pull it. He's got the kind of power. He can go straight away center, and he just did.
Got in on his hands a little bit. This is dropping shallow, and is that caught? It's a clean catch from Luke Raley, who throws back to second base, and that's a double play. Sanoha was off to the races, and Luke Raley just laid out and makes a spectacular catch and wipes away that leadoff double.
That is a fair ball rolling down the right field line into the corner. Here comes Otto Lopez. He'll get a wave around third. Throw to the plate, not in time. An RBI 2-out triple for Xavier Edwards. 2-0 Marlins here in the third. Liner to second, caught by Edwards. 2 away.
Couldn't quite get it out, or he was waiting for Otto, one of the two. Heads up on Naylor's part to get back quickly. Not sure if he could get it out of the glove quickly.
Boy, how hard was that ball hit?
Yeah.
Lined into center field for a base hit. Lopez is rounding. Robles his throw home. It is in time. What a tag, Cal Raleigh. He went back and slapped it down on top of Lopez. And there is out number 3. Tremendous athleticism from Cal Raleigh taking home this throw.
He struck him out, and the ball game is over. The Marlins tossed their 8th shutout of the season. They have won their 6th straight series at home. They've won their 9th series since the beginning of June. And they're now 15-2 in their last 17 games here at Lone Depot Park.
Mariners will try to avoid a 3-game sweep this afternoon. Bryce Miller gets the ball, the first pitch on Mariners.tv, set for 3:40. If there's any good news, is that all the teams chasing the Mariners in the AL West, they all lost yesterday, so there is that. The Mariners' lead over the Rangers remains a half a game. The Angels just smoked Texas 13-1. Nationals beat the Astros 8-2, so the Mariners' lead over Houston is 2 games, and the Mariners have a 5.5 game lead over the Athletics, who also lost to the Tigers 6-1. We are down to the quarterfinals of the Men's World Cup. This will be a good one. Now, remember, Morocco 4 years ago made it all the way to the semifinals. They ended up finishing 4th. They're not a weak team, but France is very, very good. They've looked about as good as anybody that's still left in the tournament. It is France and Morocco. That will be in Foxborough, Massachusetts at 1 o'clock on Fox. I will be watching. Applesauce keep rolling right along. They beat Port Angeles, the lefties, 10-3. Port Angeles did their part. They walked 9 Apple Sox batters, so if you can't throw strikes, you're going to win. Zach Doyle went 4 for 4. Wenatchee also pounded out 14 hits, so no problems there. They're rolling. They're just playing good. They'll play again tonight, by the way, at 6:35. And to the scoreboard we go. If you like 3-2 scores, there you go. A lot of 3-2 scores, including one non-leaguer. The Bellingham Everett game is actually not a league game, but 3-2 Edmonton and Nanaimo, 3-2 Kamloops Kelowna on down the line. By the way, Wenatchee not only has the best record in the West Coast League, regardless of division, they have the best record by far. And it's a pretty slow day in the world of sports. So here's a picture of my buddy Tucker and the fish he caught yesterday morning. Just for clarification purposes, Tucker is the person on the right. Well done and good eating. And those are just some of the games that people are playing. Happy Independence Day in Argentina. Happy Independence Day in South Sudan. It's National Sugar Cookie Day. It's Fashion Day. I like to wear clothes most days. My neighbors appreciate it anyway. But let's give a little love to the unappreciated cow. It's Cow Appreciation Day today, and think about it. I mean, cows, there they are. If it's a dairy product, it came from a cow. Milk, cheese, butter, yogurt. Then you got your steaks and your roasts and your ground beef. And then you got the leather for shoes and bags and jackets. Historians are pretty convinced that cows were domesticated about 10,000 years ago. They don't know exactly how, they just know it was done. And it was done in two separate parts of this planet at about the same time, with the other side not knowing what the other side was doing. Cows were domesticated in Europe and in India at about the same time, although they didn't really know about it. It was, after all, 10,000 years ago, and now cows are essentially everywhere. There are over a billion cows in the world. India has the largest population of cows. They are sacred, of course, in India. India has over 300 million cows. Brazil, 219 million cows. I don't know how they count them all. China has 100 million cows. Here in this country, about 100 million cows. The cow's heart beats about 100 times a minute, which is faster than I would think. The average cow can produce about 7 gallons of milk every day, and almost as soon as cows were domesticated, they started using them as draft animals to haul heavy stuff that man could not haul themselves. So let's give a little love to the cow today. 26 minutes after the hour, today in history, the big pep talk before the Battle of Long Island. On this date in 1776, just 5 days after the Declaration of Independence, George Washington orders that the Declaration of Independence be read out loud to his troops stationed in Lower Manhattan. Right across the bay, of course, there were thousands of British troops on Staten Island. They were getting ready for the Battle of Long Island, so George rallied the troops. Hey, the war is now official. Let's go get them. Of course, the British won the Battle of Long Island, and George and the crew had to hightail it out of there. And for the rest of the Revolutionary War, the British controlled New York, but we got even because most of the people who lived in New York, they also left. Didn't come back until after the war was over. That was on this date in 1776. Happy birthday to the 14th Amendment outside of the First Amendment. The most, as far as Supreme Court decisions, the 14th Amendment has been cited on numerous historical Supreme Court decisions. The 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution is ratified. Everybody in this country is entitled to due process of law. So state and local governments, you cannot deprive a human being, whether they're a citizen of not or life, liberty, or property, without fair procedure. And basically, it brought incorporation. Now, incorporation didn't really come into vogue until the 20th century, but basically it incorporated the Bill of Rights, which was only the federal level. The Bill of Rights was basically incorporated, so the states also had to adhere to the Bill of Rights. And if you were in the Confederacy, you had to ratify the 14th Amendment in order to get back into the Union. That was one of the requirements after the war, was that the rebel states had to approve the 14th Amendment to get back in. The 14th Amendment is 158 years old today, and there's a lot of ambiguity in it. Read it once or twice or 3 times. You can understand why a lot of people read different things into the 14th Amendment. 108 years ago today in Nashville, the deadliest train accident in this country's history. One was a local commuter train that just took people in around the Nashville area. The other was an express train that took people one way a very long period of time. The express train was going pretty quickly. The local train was not. They collided. Again, this was in Nashville in 1918. 171 people were injured. 101 people were killed. The deadliest rail accident in this country's history. And 70 years ago today, on this date, 1956, Bill Haley and his Comets were scheduled to play at Roosevelt Stadium a baseball field in Jersey City, New Jersey, but the city council passed an ordinance on that very day that read, and I'm quoting now, rock and roll music encourages juvenile delinquency, and rock and roll music inspires young females in bathing suits to perform obscene dances on the beaches of our city. And so they banned this show. This rock and roll, it's gotta go. It warps your brain and will prevent us from winning the war. Let's do birthdays. Poor Elias Howe, the guy invented the sewing machine, and then for 15 years he kept going to court to get paid for it. Elias Howe, one of the most important, he invented the sewing machine. That's about as important as you can possibly get. He was born in the state in 1819. And yeah, he literally, after he got his patent, and then Isaac Singer and a bunch of others just started manufacturing sewing machines without bothering to pay that guy. And that guy said enough, and he spent an inordinate amount of time in court because the people who were making the sewing machines and using his patent without paying him were making money hand over fist. They tried to just litigate him out of business. He eventually got his money, and he died. Elias Howe, born in the state in 1819. And this guy has done good for himself, hasn't he? It's a milestone for Tom Hanks. He is 70 years old today. I loved him in Splash. We went and saw Splash when it first came out in the movies in the early 1980s, the great Ron Howard movie, and then Big, and then A League of Their Own, Sleepless in Seattle, Apollo 13, The Green Mile, Castaway, Saving Private Ryan, of course, The Terminal. That was a great movie, the guy who gets stuck in the airport terminal. The Post, Philadelphia, a movie called Forrest Gump. Haven't seen that one. He's got 2 Academy Awards, of course, for Forrest Gump and Philadelphia. He's got Golden Globes. He's got Emmy Awards. He's got a Presidential Medal of Freedom. He's got a good-looking wife. Life is good for Tom Hanks. He's also a producer and a writer. He is 70 years old today. For Heat and Air, call Alpine Air. For Heat and Air, call Alpine Air. They are our platinum sponsors. My air conditioner has not stopped running for about 2.5 weeks. So far, so good. But guess what? We're going to have a heat wave. Make sure that your AC is up for the challenge. And if you think something might be a little cattywampus, well, you probably didn't buy it from Alpine Air, but give them a call anyway, all right? You'll be glad you did. Still to come, an opinion from Mike Mad Dog Magnotti. He's got some sort of bizarre fascination with pizza. Well, he's from New Jersey, so can't hold that against him. My friend Hanne Bosket and I visited at the brand new, what will be in a couple of years, the Lookout Natural Area, which is a bunch of acres that the city of Wenatchee and the Chelan-Douglas Land Trust combined to purchase from the Omi family. It's over 100 acres. It's going to be a part of the trail system. We actually went there last week to tape that interview with Hanne. You're going to like that first. But Maui the dog has been incarcerated in dog jail. No fault of Maui's. It's time for Pause for Pets.
This is Maui. He's one of our more shy dogs. He's in our Heroic Hounds program. He's about 2 years old, I believe. He's a mixed breed of sorts, so whoever adopts him get him tested and figure out like exactly what he is. He's been here since March, so quite a while. It's harder for him to get adopted just because he is so shy, but once he warms up, he's very outgoing. Like when I grabbed him to come over here, he was like jumping on me and he was all happy to see me, and he's just a little bit more nervous right now, but so much better. When he first got here, he was so shut down, and now he likes to, me and him hang out a lot, and he's opened up like a lot. His favorite thing to do is to play tag with other dogs and then run into the pool. We have a pool up in the yard up there. He came in as a stray, so we know nothing about his background. Probably a place with no kids, and then someone who's probably home a lot and has another dog preferably. He does great with other dogs. Just someone who can spend a lot of time with him, just to get him, warmed up to you and to the place and environments. He is kind of scared of doorways, so it does take time for him to get used to new places and everything. He's up to date on all of his vaccines and everything, and yeah, he is neutered. He loves playgroup. We have a program where dogs can go up and play together, and he loves it up there. He'll play tag with the other dogs, so basically he'll just run in circles and play with the other dogs. And then we also have a pool up there. He definitely loves the water, so he'll just run and jump into the pool and be like a little spaz. It's super cute. He knows sit, and then he does know lay down. Hey, lay down. Yes. That's about all right now. We've been working with some other things like stay and wait, and we've been working on shake, but I don't know. I don't know if that's gonna work out. They should come to the Humane Society and come meet with him, and basically you would sit down and just like a slow introduction, just to see if it's a good fit. You'll talk with our behavioral team. They'll take you through a series of questions and like just see how you would do with him, and they'll show you like how to best get him to warm up to you into the new household. We're open from 12:30 to 6 every day of the week.
Give them a call at 509-662-9577 or visit their website at wenatcheehumane.org. NCW Life Channel is your local TV station. We believe in being the spotlight and mirror to the communities we serve in North Central Washington. Programming on NCW Life would not be possible without our sponsors. Special thanks to our platinum sponsor, Alpine Air. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air.
Hi, I'm Amanda Walden with A. Walden Insurance Group. Medicare can be overwhelming, but you don't have to figure it out alone. I've been helping people understand their Medicare options for over a decade. Medicare isn't a one-size-fits-all. I'll help you understand your coverage options so you can feel confident in your decisions. Let's find the right Medicare plan for you. Call me today or come and see me at my office located on South Chelan Avenue in Wenatchee between the YMCA and the Social Security office. I look forward to meeting you soon.
Somewhere behind these doors is a family member, often alone, taking care of a loved one with Alzheimer's or some other disability, or providing care for a loved one who is not ill but only aging and no longer able to care for themselves. In the field of caregiving, this is the home front. For the home is where most Americans will live out their last days. Contact Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington for a variety of services including caregiving, meals, and medication help.
Affordable power is the heart of what we do as your public utility. But we don't stop at offering some of the lowest rates in the nation. Through local partnerships, discount, and assistance programs, our staff works with residents every day to keep the power on. And now, we're offering 25% bill discounts for customers who need it most. To see if you qualify, visit chelanpud.org/discounts.
Mike Mad Dog McNutty, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, I was recently watching a cop show on TV. It was the LA cops. They were investigating a murder. And apparently the victim had ordered a pizza and had been killed by the delivery person. The murderer killed the delivery person, yada, yada. Okay, but the delivery person, after the murder, then helped themselves to a slice after killing the guy. Now, the very astute cop said, "Oh, the suspect is from the East Coast." And the other cop asked how she knew that. And this very knowledgeable detective said, "Because he folded his slice of pizza." Yeah, that's how we do it. Of course, you West Coasters, first of all, you have no idea what real pizza is. And secondly, you don't need to fold your pizza since it's as stiff as cardboard. This is Mike Mad Dog McNutty, and that's my opinion.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCW Life, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Blue Lagoon is now scheduling pool installations for spring and summer of 2026. Book now for your free consultation to lock in your savings of a free heat pump, an $11,000 value. Let the experts at Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa handle the construction, installation, and regular maintenance. Turn your backyard into a vacation paradise with an industry-leading San Juan pool. No need to go off the deep end. Relax knowing you're in great hands with Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa. Give us a call today.
Whether you're building from the ground up or transforming your space with a custom remodel, One Way Construction is your trusted partner in creating a home that's uniquely yours. Your dream home is just a call away. Schedule your free consultation and let's build something amazing together.
Any excuse to get out of the office on a beautiful summer's morning, I'm on top of it, and there's no better place to be on this beautiful summer morning than this spectacular view with Omi Gardens in the background. And my guest today is just celebrated her first-year anniversary as the person in charge of the Chelan-Douglas Land Trust, and they just closed a deal last winter with the city of Wenatchee and the Omi family to, well, take care of this beautiful piece of real estate. I don't want to screw up your last name, Hanne, because I know it's new.
Hanne Bosket, Executive Director of the Chelan-Douglas Land Trust.
Thanks for taking time out.
Yeah.
And before this interview is over, I want to know where I can give me one of those hats.
Yeah. That's a common request.
You're just a year into the job now.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's kind of funny. They did a nationwide search to find a replacement for the new Executive Director, and they came right back home to you.
Yeah.
So how's the first year going? Talk about it.
It's going great. It's been a big job to step into. I worked at the Land Trust from about 2013 to 2023. I then stepped away and worked for another local nonprofit doing some research work to benefit the Land Trust. And when I saw this job opening come up, I said, you know, I gotta throw my hat in the ring. I love that organization too much not to. And in that first year, we've engaged in a capital campaign. We're on the road to update our strategic planning process. We've been continuing to build out some trails that were planned for, and continued with land conservation projects in a wide variety of areas in Chelan and Douglas counties. So it's been busy, but we have a great staff. We were able to staff up and retain our staff, and so that's been just, you know, I'm the chief staff support person. That's my role.
And a great board of directors.
Yes, we have an excellent board. we're getting more diverse with our skill set and our perspectives that we bring onto that board, and they really help guide the direction of the organization and make sure that we're aligned with our community.
There were folks, naysayers 40 years ago when the Chelan-Douglas Land Trust fired up, said this is a pig in a poke.
Yeah.
They got no money. They don't have a budget.
Yeah.
They're wrong.
Yeah. We stand on the shoulders of everyone who came before us. I mean, we are one of the institutions that's woven into the fabric of this community, providing public services in land conservation for ecological values and wildlife, but also for public access, which is something we're really known for in the Wenatchee Valley. But that's even spreading into Kashmir and Leavenworth as well. So I think we really fill a role here as a land manager, but also as a community organization, and we can be responsive and nimble as a nonprofit as well. And we've built a stable financial base of operations as well. So we're very fortunate to be so well supported and loved by our community.
When people think of the Chelan-Douglas Land Trust, at least here in the Wenatchee Valley, they think of the great natural areas that you saved with acquisitions and partnerships with various agencies and individual property owners to save the west side of the valley. The people were a little nervous about what happened on the east side as the developments began to climb up towards Fancher Heights. They didn't want that to happen to the west side. And that was what a lot of the people associate with what you guys have been able to do to save the natural beauty of the west side of the valley. But it's more than that. You've been involved in places all over Chelan and Douglas County that don't necessarily mean the Wenatchee Valley, like the White River, for instance. You just had an acquisition there not long ago.
Yeah, we acquired a couple of new properties right along the White River corridor, and that's in our riparian property protection program of the Land Trust, and that is really to support salmon habitat recovery in these key waterways and tributaries into the Columbia. Those have their own specific funding sources and project partners that then come in and actually do the restoration projects on the properties that we acquire. That's just a whole other kind of facet of what the Land Trust does outside of public access close to home for folks. But those properties are also open to public access, and we're trying to do our best to kind of plan for that and anticipate what that's going to mean as the interest in river recreation grows in our area.
How do these partnerships, these ad hoc marriages work out? I mean, for instance, we use the White River acquisition from not long ago. Who approached who? How does that work? Or did you look at Google Earth and said, hey, that's right up our alley? How does that thing work?
Yes, we always look at Google Earth or like a county GIS interactive map to find out who we need to talk to. We use a variety of criteria. We have an internal conservation criteria that looks at certain things that we need to meet with a conservation project in order for us to engage with it. A lot of times it does come down to funding. We don't have a war chest full of funds necessarily to just throw at any piece of property that we may want to protect. So we try and align that funding, and that's a lot of what those partnerships hinge on, is leveraging these partnerships to bring different funding sources that are unique to each partner, whether it's governmental, like the City of Wenatchee and the Land Trust protecting this lookout property that we're standing on and the legacy of the foothills there, or whether it's project partners like Chelan County Natural Resources or Cascade Fisheries or Cascadia Conservation District to do some of that riparian protection. And then we work, with like the NRCS, the Natural Resource Conservation Service, to do a lot of protection in Douglas County of working ranch lands out there. So it's really piecing together the funding quilts to make these deals happen, and then also what does the long-term management look like of that property, because that's our wheelhouse, is perpetuity. So we're in it for the long haul and have to think about that as well.
And the west side of the valley falls within the City of Wenatchee's growth management area. And Dave Erickson, Parks and Rec guy at the City of Wenatchee, thinks you guys are the bee's knees, because they don't really have to do this, but they want to help you guys out, and that's been a great partnership.
It has, and we think Dave Erickson is the bee's knees. We have a joke in the Land Trust that succession planning usually focuses internally on an organization, but we're always very keen to know about succession planning for Dave Erickson. Not that we are interested in him leaving anytime soon, but he is really important, and we have found a great partner there in applying for funding and making things happen in the foothills.
There's a reason that Hanne and I are standing here. We'll get to that in just a little bit. But speaking of the foothills, is there anything left in that regard as as you've been continuing to work with the various agencies to acquire property and build out trails for recreation and wildlife usage on the west side of the valley. Is that pretty much tapped out? Where are we with that?
You know, I think it's important to mention that the Land Trust isn't an anti-development organization. We think that there's a right place for everything in this region that benefits our communities and our way of life. So there probably are areas in the foothills that could support more development. There's also areas that are not identified as not great for development. I think our focus in the future is certainly on managing what we have, and future land conservation will build on those areas that are already protected. So using those as a seed and then building out from them to add more public access. That way there's connectivity. So we're really looking at connectivity to public lands or other open spaces that has more habitat value and more potential for public access that's appropriately balanced with that habitat value.
And this project that we're sitting on right here, the Lookout Natural Area, this took a long time. A lot of give and take and back and forth, but come February of earlier this year, the deal is done. Yep. You and the city got together. We're standing in the middle of 135 gorgeous acres. This is, again, a fantastic partnership between private ownership, governmental entities, and your organization. How did this whole thing fall together, the Lookout?
Well, as is the case with many land acquisition projects that the Land Trust engages in, it takes a long time, sometimes a decade, sometimes 2 decades. And it really starts and ends with building relationships and trust with everyone who's at the table. Sometimes we reach out to people, sometimes people approach the Land Trust and say, hey, I have this idea about conserving a property, help me think through it. In this case, it became clear that this would be a competitive project to protect, i.e. acquire, with the city partnership to build on the legacy of the foothills. And so we approached the city about that and put together a grant application. So half of the cost of acquiring this came from a city grant that they received from the state, and the Land Trust's commitment was that we would raise the other half, because those are match grants, 50% match grants. So we raised an early $800,000 as part of our Lookout Natural Area campaign to be able to acquire the property here in February of 2026, like you said. And then we have submitted another grant, the city has, for $1 million, and the Land Trust is, as part of its capital campaign, raising that $1 million match here locally. And we're jazzed about how our community shows up. I mean, our donor base is primarily primary residents in Chelan and Douglas counties, and people see the value in the work we do, and they support it in their own backyard, which is just such a cool thing that it's locally grown here, which is really
And kudos to the Omi family.
Yeah.
Owners of the vast majority of the tracts that were sitting here. They could have just said, out of heck with it, I'm just going to sell out to some private developer and let them build mansions in this area, but they said no.
Yes, and you know, another really great thing about the Omi family, they've been very consistent about wanting to conserve this. They also were really consistent about wanting to acknowledge that this land is the traditional territory of the Wenatchee Piscosa people, and so they worked to engage the tribes, and the Land Trust has a partnership with the Colville Confederated Tribe, and they had some tribal members out here, Sharon Covington and Ernie Brooks, and they took a walk on the property, and they came up with the name Lookout. So that is actually a name from our partners at the Colville Confederated Tribes for how the Wenatchee people view this place here.
And now Suzanne has her work cut out for her.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. But we've got, like I said, we have a great community. They see the value in the work. We're building on the proven track record of success of the foothills. So I think the messaging is pretty clear.
In fact, what we're going to do is we're going to stop right here, and when we come back, the lady who's in charge of getting you people to open up your checkbooks, but don't worry, she is good at it. We'll have that interview coming up. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
The Surf and Slide Water Park is open from Memorial Day through Labor Day. Surf and Slide is located in the heart of Central Washington in Moses Lake with activities for all ages and abilities. Check out Surf and Slide's Flow Rider Surfing Simulator, Lazy River, 2 200-foot water slides, tube slides, and diving boards. Our children's area includes a Treasure Island water structure, splash pad, and baby octopus slide. For season passes, visit us online or find Surf and Slide on Facebook.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCW Life, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
.66 degrees when this show got underway an hour ago at 7 o'clock. It's now almost 8 o'clock. We're up to 70 degrees. Relative humidity is down to 28%. All this week, with one exception, I think that was Sunday, relative humidity has gotten down to 15, 14%. Relative humidity yesterday about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, that is bone dry. We have one of those nervous Nelly kind of forecasts for this time of the year coming up. At first, we got a little time. We got the cameras. What the heck? Let's go ahead and put the quarters in them to get them fired up, and let's see what we're looking like. The clouds that were fairly prevalent when the show started, when we started at 7 o'clock, it was about 50% clouds, 50% clear skies. Now that's about 30% clouds and 70% clear skies. In the overnight hours, a weak marine area, weak marine front kind of shoved into our area to bring in some of those high clouds. But it also kept us pretty warm for the overnight lows. So the clouds are beginning to thin out a little bit, and they're high up there as well. But it's going to be very warm again today. We hit 89 yesterday. We'll be at least that today. There, of course, is the Hay Canyon camera looking good. It's good to see you, Kashmir. Always a pleasure. Wenatchee River is down. We were up in the Upper Valley for vacation. Wenatchee River running pretty low and pretty slow, and the Icicle as well. I was amazed about how low the Icicle River was for this time of the year. Good morning to Lake Aniat, to Turtle Rock, to off in the distance Mission Ridge. Be rift of snow as it normally is this time of the year. A little sliver of Rocky Reach in the far right-hand corner of your screen. Right now, Lake Aniat is still, but the boats will be out as the day progresses. Oh, I think that's the Bear Mountain camera. Pretty sure it is. Hello, Chelan. Man, you've had a rough go of it, haven't you, over the last 4 or 5 days? There's Wapato Point doing his job. Good morning to Manson. I hope things get better. The fire is still at about 10,000 acres and still only about 50% contained. We'll get more on that as this day progresses. This is a slide we could probably show every day between now and September, but this is specific for today and tomorrow. No red flag warning yet. We had one yesterday because we also had the winds. Well, today the wind isn't going to be that much of an issue late in the afternoon today and late in the afternoon on Friday, and in the overnight hours tonight and Friday night into Saturday, the wind will pick up through the Cascade Gaps, so it will be a little breezy, and then after that, we're done with the wind, so we can take a little bit of a breather there, but we're going to replace that with some pretty hot temperatures. From the National Weather Service, a lot of sunshine today. Late in the afternoon, about 5:30, 6 o'clock, the wind will be picking up a little bit. We'll get up to about 90 degrees for the afternoon high. Fairly windy tonight, about 10 to 15 miles an hour right out of the west. If you live in the Cascade Gaps, a little windier there. We'll get down to 63. 89, very little wind on Friday. And then we go into another weekend with some wind on Friday night with an overnight low of 61. Then we're done with the wind by Saturday, and then here comes some big-time heat. High pressure will move in and cook us up for most of next week as well. It's good to be back. Maybe I'll shave tomorrow, maybe I won't. We'll find out until then. Bye-bye.